One of the exciting things about running a rental car business are the plethora of interesting individuals that you get to interact with. If you've been watching my channel or you've ever bothered to click on the description of my channel, you will know that I have another channel called the Solutionist Channel. And on this channel, I talk about everything concerning money, my tour experience, and other businesses. On this one occasion, I got a booking for my Range Rover, and this guest or a renter requested a delivery to their location. This guest will be what I would consider a neighbor because they live right around the corner. So upon arrival, we started communicating, nothing serious. He told me about how he's a distributor or a middleman for a foreign moissanite jewelry manufacturer. And one thing led to another. Ladies and gentlemen, he introduced me to Turathi Blue. This right here is a fragrance from the house of Afnan, and it's an Eau de Parfum fragrance. And today I'm going to be reviewing or unboxing this used. Yes, this is used because I bought it 90% full. More on that later. This is used, and I'm going to be reviewing this bottle. It's a 90 ml bottle or a 3 fluid ounce bottle. Now I'm talking about Turathi Blue from the house of Afnan. This is a very interesting box. The way it's built is very solid. It's well protected in the box. Just my first analysis. You can see the name right there, Afnan. It says you can see the logo of authenticity right there, kind of glows in the back. It's pretty solid. From the name, this right here is an Arabic Middle Eastern niche fragrance. But today we're gonna unbox it and see what this fragrance is about. Welcome back to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. So as I continue to examine this box, when you look at the emblem here, the sticker of authenticity, you can see like the Afnan floating in something that looks like water. And I was right. This was made in the United Arab Emirates. This was one of those fragrances that does very well in the Middle East. I'm looking back here. It shows the manufacturer information, shows the website. It shows different things about the fragrance, the composition, says the ingredients. And I know limonene is from citrus. The boxing is very solid. It's very interesting. I know most of you are asking, if you're watching this right now, what led to the conversation? How did we get to talking about this fragrance? I'm going to unbox this while I'm giving you the background information. When it pulled up, I'm one of these kind of curious guys. I like when people smell great. So when people smell great, I get very curious and I want to know what they're wearing and I ask questions. So he pointed out this fragrance and he recommended this highly. He told me to try this out. The price point is very low. He explained the advantage of the price point. Even after him introducing me to this fragrance, I found out that this fragrance is actually closely related to another fragrance that I'm going to talk about down in this video. Opening up the box, you get a letter from the company over here. It says, for the man carrying on a legacy, a man in control of his life, how to achieve his goals, overcoming all hurdles of life to reach success. A saying that speaks volumes about inner strength and magnificent presence. So they have a powerful message here about who this fragrance is for. This is for high value man. Because if you know anything about Dubai, the Middle East, there's a lot of money there. There's a lot of powerful people over there. It makes sense that a fragrance like this would come with a message that speaks to power, that tries to empower the individual that this was meant for. This is what it looks like. I'm taking out the bottle. The cover of the cologne is very, very quality. They put so much time into it. This is made of very, very heavy metal. And that's the bottle. This is the casing it comes in. That's the message right there. Hopefully you can see that. And then over here, I'm going to proceed to put this to the side. So we're going to put this out here for you guys keep looking at. And then we're going to proceed. So that's what the bottle looks like. It's a very interesting bottle. See that? Looks like the chest of a man. Very masculine bottle. Just sitting by itself. This, I suppose, will serve as the head of the man. And together, you see that looks just like a masculine man, a powerful man. The kind of man they will be speaking to on that opening or the unveiling of the product. They were trying to not just give you a cologne, but a whole experience. And part of the experience was just putting in that motivational information for you to receive when you open it up. Just remember, I'm one of these kind of guys. I don't overthink these things. Yes, I use different websites, but this one here, I secured this from eBay. The seller had 100% feedback, but they were quick to disclose that the bottle was 90% full. But I went on to purchase it because it wasn't something that I was buying because I knew a lot about it. It was experimental. I was just trying to try out this bottle, get an experience, get a feel for it. And if it was something that was good, I'll use it till it's empty and then I'll replenish it. And then at that point, I'll buy a brand new bottle. I just wanted something that was authentic, something I could review, something I could bring to you guys and just talk about it. Like I said, I always talk about stuff that I actually use on this channel. I'm not a perfume or cologne or fragrance reviewer, but I just bought into the idea from Kevin Samuels about how men need to check for their footwear, fragrance, and frames. So fragrance is one of the F's. I think it's exciting. I think it's good to know. Above wearing the right frames and wear the right shoes, a man needs to smell very good. The guy that introduced me to this is actually a Moissanite jewelry middleman. He has distributors from out of the country. He orders jewelry like the Moissanite chains that some of your favorite rappers wear. Some of you call them fake chains, and he distributes. So he introduced me to this because he thought that the price point was good and he thought that this was very affordable and this smelled great. So I was like, oh, it's a no-brainer. I checked the price point. Price point was amazing. I ordered it so I could try it out. We're going to go ahead and put some of this. Oh wow, that was a power spray. So I'm gonna put this here and I'm gonna let it simmer. I'm gonna put another one here. Before putting this fragrance on, Turathi Blue, that's the man of the hour, this is the master of the ceremony. Upon spraying it, my first experience is that this is it smells amazing. First of all, it smells great. It's very gentle, it's very calm, it's very knifey, cuts through. You will not walk past this without noticing this. It rubs off like a very summer fragrance, but it will do well in the winter time as well. Let's dissect the impact of what I just perceived on my nose. Now, before I proceed to give you the breakdown of Turathi Blue from the house of Afnan, I want to just give you my general take on this fragrance. I believe that this fragrance is ambery, woody fragrance dipped in an immersive smell of ocean with an overwhelming or just an equally matched tone of citrus. That is the best way I could describe it from my personal opinion at this point. So now let's go on so I could give you the breakdown of the rest of the profile and other useful information about this fragrance. Let's start with the fragrance profile. The top of the note is something called bergamot and is also mixed in with mandarin. If you know, mandarin is a citrus fruit. So what this does is that it acts like a sharp burst of grapefruit that hits your nose. And you know, grapefruit could be sweet, it could be very flowery, very summery, very lively. And that's what you first get once you spray this fragrance on any part of your body. That first burst is the best description I could give that it smells like. Then as you proceed further, at the heart of the fragrance is amber and wood. So it gets ambery and woody. What that does is it takes the fragrance from very sharp smell and it brings it down to a warm smell and a warm effect on the atmosphere as it dries down on the skin or wherever you applied it. And then going to the base of the fragrance, you have musk, patchouli, and fresh spices. This helps make the fragrance very well rounded. It gives it that sealage, gives it that distance, gives it that reach, and it sharpens the effect of the fragrance. Now, here's the best way to describe Turathi Blue from the house of Afnan. It's an aromatic aquatic fragrance with a very refined freshness and character to it. It starts out with a vibrant, zesty citrus note at the beginning of the first spray. Transitions into a smooth, musky, ambery, so that when you walk past the room, it just leaves that trail. And now let's go into its performance and longevity once applied to the skin. Some frequent users have actually pegged and clocked this fragrance at a 6 to 10 hour longevity once applied to the skin. This is very high for a fresh fragrance. Now let's talk projection. For this fragrance, within an arm's length, for the first 2 to 3 hours, it comes with a strong initial projection. And then after that, it settles into a nice, consistent trail of scent. When it comes to versatility, this is an easy choice for any season, and it makes it a no-brainer for many users. It excels very well in the spring and summer seasons. Also, this fragrance receives high praise for office wear because it carries a clean, non-offensive DNA to its scent. There was a fragrance that the Turathi Blue can easily draw comparison to, and that fragrance is the Bulgari Tiger. So now let's talk about how it compares to this Bulgari fragrance. So scent experts have diagnosed both fragrances and the DNA and have drawn similarities of about 95% between the Bulgari Tiger and the Turathi Blue. Turathi Blue has a much more user-friendly price point, coming much more lower than the Bulgari Tiger. So you may ask, what's the difference between these two fragrances? Well, when it comes to the Turathi Blue, upon dry down, it settles into this bubbly, ambery fragrance on the skin once sprayed. But on the other hand, the Bulgari Tiger is just just linear once it settles. Now let's talk about value. For a 90 ml bottle of the Turathi Blue, you are looking at a price point of about $30 to $50. While for the Bulgari Tiger, it's a niche price fragrance, and you're looking at over $140 for a bottle. In conclusion, when it comes to fragrances like the Turathi Blue in the 2006 trend system, citrus fragrances have become seasonless, and that makes Turathi Blue a seasonless pick and not just a summertime scent. As we keep concluding this review, some of the things I want to talk to you about was the other things I noticed about the cologne. The cap is very high quality, very well made, very heavy, very durable. Of course, that might be useful or useless to most people because it's just a cap, but it helps with the aesthetic of the bottle. But other than that, once you remove the cap, the other thing I noticed about the cologne is that the bottle is very wobbly. You see that? It's very wobbly. It could easily fall or knock things over. You could easily break it. So you have to be mindful about that where you put it. So when you put it somewhere, you have to be very intentional to plant it down or just leave it in the box. That's what I noticed about it. So it's very wobbly, as you can see. It could fall over. Things could happen. So you could pick up a bottle of these from a well-reviewed eBay seller with 100% feedback. I don't like to buy anything from eBay sellers that don't have 100% feedback. So try to make sure if you're buying from eBay, Amazon, or one of the retail websites, make sure they have a very good review. Other than that, you could just visit the official House of Afnan website to pick up one of these. And that website is www.afnan.com. So that's where you can get the products from the House of Afnan. We've come to the end of this review. I want to thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, any comments, please leave that in the comment section. Other than that, like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'll bring you as much more content as I can. With that said, I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.